Hey, Chris Lipe here, and I've been spending time with extreme metal vocalist Britta Görtz. How to scream, how to develop sensations, no matter your voice type, for really aggressive vocals. Screaming, yelling, growling. If you want to go deeper with Britta and her approach, there's a link that links to a waiting list for a course that she's going to be putting out here very soon. Click that link below and join that waiting list. I want to ask you, Britta, thank you for being here again, by the way.
Thanks for having me again.
How do you warm up for aggressive, extreme vocals? And is it different than warming up for traditional singing?
I would say it is a little bit. First of all, we have to understand that we need to have our breathing support in a very, very, very good state. We want to scream and growl in a healthy and good way. Because like the vocal health of a metal vocalist when singing harsh vocals is more or less like really dependent on what you do here. What you're lacking here, you will feel after the show here. So I make sure that I have my breathing warmed up so that I'm engaging in like a belly breathing, that I have my back straight, that I'm not like having a bad posture for singing. And that's the very first thing that I do. And sometimes, especially when you're on a long route to a show or something and you sit in the van like for 7 or 8 hours, like a good stretch is the best thing to start with, to have like a good posture for singing.
Kind of aligning your body first and then engaging the belly.
Yes, exactly. So, and then the first thing I do, which might but sometimes be a little counterintuitive, I go on a very, very light hum. And the light hum is there to have a very good closure on full length of the vocal folds with a mouth closed lightly, not pressed together. Yeah. Right. And so that we have nasal airflow while we do that. So it just can sound something like that.
Nasal.
And go where it's comfortable, like. Exactly. And I do that as long as my voice needs to sound clear. So I don't want to have any like sounds still in there, because that might just like when there's a little bit of air coming in the end when the vocal cords are not closing properly. I don't want that, because like when you have closed vocal cords, or as close as they can be, then this will provide a super solid basis for your growls, your screams, and everything.
Nasal awareness, chord closure awareness, resonance, facial resonance awareness. You're bringing that to the very front of your consciousness before you try to do anything else. That's
Yes.
what I'm hearing you say. Okay, what's next?
The next thing is I make that hum a little louder, and I make sure that I can move my jaw independently from my head and without any tension here. So when I do that, it looks and sounds like that. And I do not pay any attention, does it sound good?
No.
Like it's just there for me to warm up. And why I'm doing that is because I see many people do that.
Right. The
and
tension.
You don't need that.
No, and you in fact, it's keeping you from doing what you want to do. You're adding all that jaw tension. So,
Yes.
But when you just did that, when you started moving things around, in the previous warm-up tip, you had said make sure that you have very loose lips. And let me ask you, are your lips any tighter when you start moving your jaw around?
I would say maybe 1 or 2% tighter.
But not, okay.
The lips follow the motion of my jaw and not the other way around. The other way around would be...
Like you're chewing something. I'm trying to keep stuff from falling out of your mouth. Okay.
So we need to be experts in shaping techniques when we want to scream and growl. And so our jaw needs to be able to come forward and to come into all kinds of positions without like any kind of extra tension.
Okay. So, and then when you were moving that pitch around more on that second warm up as well, were you intentionally working out the range and positioning of your true chords, your primary chords, to go into your head resonance versus your chest resonance? Are what I felt like I heard was this. Am I right?
Yes, that's exactly what I did. But you can do that just like very comfortably. Like you don't have to worry about like getting rid of that switch from your head to your chest voice. Like just let it come out naturally. Like and then you go a little bit higher and higher and lower, but slowly. Take your time.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. Okay, and what gets you then, after you've done these are calm and subdued and almost meditative. What gets you into the area of being able to cut loose?
It goes on like that for a little while. So like I'm adding some yawning because our soft palate needs to be able to move freely, because this is like really our like the one thing that you want to learn how to control, but it's not really easy to control. So by engaging it in a yawn, you can really feel it stretching. So open your mouth first. And then inhale on any kind of tone that you feel. And then I end this kind of like meditative part of the warm-up with a literal. Unless I can do that, I'm not moving on to the growl and scream part, because like this is really where it all comes together. Your breathing support needs to be in the place. Your placement needs to be in the place. Otherwise, like the literal will just stop moving.
So you use that as a gauge, like I am not relaxed enough, I am not present enough to my body to move on until I can freely do those lip rolls.
That's my checkbox. And so like many of my students or other singers who sing a lot of clean voice in their songs, they would probably now go into scales and their exercise. But like if you're just warming up for doing screams and growls, take these 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it takes for you. It's very it differs from person to person. And then I move on to a very useful tool, and it's called the Vowel Triangle or the Vowel Diagram. You're probably familiar with that, Chris. So it has all the different vowels aligned in a triangle. It's also available as a download in my course, by the way. And I move through all the vowels in my desired techniques and on different pitches before I move on to phrasing. And I can't stress this enough, like the proper placement for each vowel needs to be there before you start phrasing and sing very complex things. So you can start with an A, go to an E sound, like ma, me, me. And you can also like go with these natural pitch variations like that. The E is a little higher than the A. And then you go all around, and you can also do that on a fry scream, like hey, he. And once you figured out how to sing every vowel properly, that's when you're good to go.
When you say once you've figured out how to do that in various different coordinations and postures, so you're doing it, and I don't know that you said this, but I'm going to imply it. You do that, the vowel triangle clean first, by trying to get everything aligned and sort of squaring that with the other warm-ups that you did. And then you start introducing false chord engagement, you start introducing various fry sounds, and you circle the triangle. you go around into those different vowels in those different coordinations, but it's a progression. It's not like you're sitting here moving your jaw around and doing clean stuff, and then all of a sudden you're doing aggressive vowels as a screamer.
Well, for my warm-up, I do that. So like I have my voice warmed up to a point where I can do that easily on a warm-up, but that is not for training beginners. Of course, beginners will have a longer route leading to that. But once I've done my lip rolls, my lip trills, I am personally done with like the clean stuff, and I just go on very easy and light projected screams and growls. Check my vowel triangle, and then I go for more aggressive sounds and have like something like that.
Okay, that's really helpful to know, because I think if someone who hasn't experienced in their voice what we worked on in the other two videos, if they haven't worked on some of those gateway sensations and they were to try to warm up like you just demonstrated, well, I go from these really light, clean, introspective kind of sounds to doing that, there's, well, wait a minute, how do we get from here to here? Well, you get from here to here by leaning into the sensations that we've talked about in those previous videos. So that's really good to sort of glue that together.
Yes.
What is the point? So we had that point earlier with the lip rolls that said that you were able to move on. As you're doing the vowel triangle and you're warming up these different false chord engagements and fry sounds, where's your checkbox for, okay, now I'm ready to hit the record button, or now I'm ready to sing a set, scream a set?
I pick the most complex transitions that I do in the set that we're gonna play the night, or the most difficult sets of transitions that I'm gonna record. And when I can do them smoothly, and I don't want to say effortlessly because that would be a lie, like it's vocal sports, like don't get me wrong on that. But if I can do that comfortably, then I feel like I'm ready to go. Because what I really don't want to do is warm up in front of an audience. Like, you know, like I want to be my 110% before I step onto the stage. So I make sure that I can sing all my pick squeals, all my super lows, all my high pitched screams properly before I do that. And that's my checkbox. So like I start with the vowel triangle, and then I pick for my difficult parts, and then I weave them in. And when I can do that, then I'm good to go.
Thanks again for your insights and your practical applications for some of these things. It's very relatable and easy to internalize. If you want more of this, Britta's got a course coming out, and you can click the link below in the video description to join the waiting list, and you'll get an email when this course is available. Again, thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Thanks a lot, Chris.